Here we are at another video of Neil deGrasse Tyson and reaction. Oh my god, it's an hour long. Strap yourselves in. Holy crap.
Voice me.
Okay.
So, how deep can you take your voice?
Probably right about in here.
Like below audio frequency levels?
I don't know if it's that deep.
Let me see, I haven't done this in a while.
Okay.
I'm Morpheus.
No. I'm Morpheus.
Why can't I be Morpheus?
Because you're not. Because I am.
This is what we're here for. No. The science talk must happen. Hello everyone, I'm Science Tracer. Welcome to another episode where I try to do science talk. The Science Me playlist, check it out. I've talked about all sorts of stuff. Last time I talked about the idea of artificial intelligence and consciousness and all that he talked about and reacting to it, and it was like, you cannot upload your brain and expect it to actually be you. It's a copy, duh. But moving on, we have this.
This is Star Talk. Neil deGrasse Tyson here.
I don't
your
even know what this
personal
is.
Astrophysicist. And today, we are joining a one-on-one exclusive conversation with someone whom I'm proud to call my friend, Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence!
Neil. How are you, man?
Welcome!
Thank you.
Star
This
Talk.
is so great. Thank you for having me,
Oh
man.
my God.
I'm so excited to be here.
This is your first time back at the Hayden
I mean, if you
Planetarium?
I haven't been
certain-
to the Hayden Planetarium since I was a boy, probably.
Oh my gosh.
Walked by many times, but
Yeah, because when I was a boy, I came by and it was like, I'm doing this for life.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I wanted to live here too, but I wasn't that good in science. I liked it, but I wasn't that good.
Wait a minute, you told me your mama taught science.
My mama was a science teacher. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so then
yeah.
how'd that square out?
Well, I found this other little thing that I was good at.
Oh, this little thing.
You know, that little acting
This
thing,
little
the little
acting-
play acting
little
thing. And it kind of worked out for me, so.
You know, kind of worked out.
Kind of
you
worked out,
think?
yeah.
So I just look at your catalog.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's not just deep, but it's broad.
Thank
And
you.
I'm looking at it and I'm saying, if I were an actor, that's kind of how I'd want to be.
Oh, man, thanks.
Because as an actor, you act this way and act that way and act this other way.
Yeah.
And if you're always doing the same thing, that's not acting.
It's not as much fun. I mean, it's fun for some people. Some people, like, they do the thing. They find the thing. If it works for them,
find
they
the
do
niche.
that.
Yeah.
That's cool. For me, I'm a kind of a curious person.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in stuff that I don't know and learning about stuff that I don't know. So,
By the way, that curiosity most of us lose in childhood. And as an adult, you get comfortable.
yes, sure.
Yeah.
But as an actor, it's good to have that kind of curiosity because you never know what kind of part you're going to play.
Right.
If you're looking for something different every time, like I am.
Plus, you want people to, if you're not always in control of what role
Right.
is offered.
Exactly.
And you want to at least give the options.
Yes,
to
yes.
those
and you want to keep learning. I mean, I want to keep learning. So
Yeah.
my curiosity has just drove me to
I'm just looking at this.
do
You,
it.
how many people know you were in Apocalypse Now?
A few people.
Okay.
I'd say a few people. know that.
Okay. You had a bit role in Apocalypse Now.
I was one of the 4 guys on a boat heading upriver with Martin Sheen to go and assassinate Marlon Brando's character.
Right. You were one of the young
I was
soldiers.
a young sailor on this boat.
Sailor on the boat.
Yeah.
And I remember you. I don't know if you confided in me, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a little late now. That you were like underage at the time. How old were
Yeah,
you?
so I auditioned for the movie. I was 14 years old. I got the part. They asked me how old I was in the interview. I lied and said I was 16. They knew that I was lying, but they just hired me anyway. It wasn't like my lie convinced them to hire me. It wasn't that. You know, a lot of guys, if you go back, you see these documentaries about World War I, you discover that there were many boys, 16, 17, who enlisted, who lied about their age, and they were conscripted anyway, and they went
So
to
they
war.
could fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were 14, lied and told them you were 16, and you were playing an 18-year-old.
And I was playing a 17-year-old.
17-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apocalypse Now,
and-
1976,
No,
1977.
And Boys in the Hood, John
Yes.
Wick.
John
Oh
Wick.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That's just fun, mindless entertainment.
Right. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
John Wick.
Yeah. Style above content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fighting.
Yeah, I love me some good fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all good.
And even I've forgotten you and I'm Blackish.
Blackish.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
As the grandfather,
The
as
grandpa,
Pops.
the grumpy grandpa.
Yeah, grumpy grandfather, Pops. That was fun.
Yeah.
CSI, where I played a scientist.
Yes.
Television, Pee Wee's Playhouse,
Oh.
where I played the cowboy, Curtis
I forgot
Cowboy
about
Curtis.
that.
Yeah.
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Yeah, Pee Wee's Playhouse. Yeah.
Man.
Good fun.
So what I thought was broad and diverse wasn't
Mhm.
even the full story.
Not quite.
Okay.
No.
All right. So you played a scientist on CSI. Were you the guy in the morgue?
No, I was not the guy in the morgue. I basically replaced William Peterson. When William Peterson, who was the bug man, left,
Okay.
my guy came in. I was a guy named Ray Langston, who was a pathologist.
So which CSI was this in the pantheon of CSIs?
It was in the original CSI, which took place in Vegas.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
By the way,
Season 9, 10, and 11.
you must know CSI ended up, it became so successful as a force of attraction
hmm
for people who might want to become scientists.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And at least anecdotally, there were
Right.
chemistry professors saying, why are all these women now in the class that weren't
Would
there?
normally
And
have
as,
been there.
I saw scientists on CSI. Because they were real people portrayed
Right.
with real social lives, personal
Yes,
lives.
exactly.
They were not just the
No, they weren't
scientists
just
in the
nerds
lab,
and brainiacs.
the nerd lab scientists that give me the answer and let's have the real people move on.
Right. They made science sexy.
They were the real people.
Yeah.
And CSI created a museum exhibit that
I
traveled.
know. That's right. They did.
Yes.
They did. It made science sexy.
Yes.
It was the way they shot it. And what I used to always tell people about the show was, they were like, "Oh, you're the star of the show." I was like, "No, I'm not the star of the show. I'm like, the crime that they're solving with the scientific method is the star of the show."
Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the star. of the
Science reigns supreme
show. Absolutely.
in every
episode.
Every episode. So, was that your only time as scientist?
No, my other time as a scientist was in a film called Contagion that came out in 2009.
Ooh,
I played the head
How
of
did
the
I miss
director
that
of
one?
the CDC.
nice.
So it was all about,
Mhm.
tracking down potential pandemics that were going to happen. And we had a guy who recently passed on, a guy named Elliot, who was the head of the CDC, and that was his job. And every day he'd be on the set, and he'd be like, "Look at this. Look what we're tracking in Bolivia. Look at what we're tracking in Africa."
As
Look
an
at what we're-"
advisor.
Yeah.
Yes,
He
yes.
would be like, "We're tracking this
Yes.
in this country. We're tracking this disease in this country." And it was fascinating. And then, of course, when COVID happened, it was like
There it is.
it was like they had lifted everything from the movie and it was actually happening in real life.
I visited the CDC for my very first time just a couple of months ago.
Oh, wow.
And they took me deep into the.
Did they?
Yeah, into what was basically like the situation. What? No, I saw this vial of Legionnaire's disease
Okay.
fluid.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
man.
this is what they study this.
Yes.
And so I went into the room, and as an astro person,
Mhm.
the only analog I have to this is mission control.
Okay.
Okay, all
Right.
these desks in arcs
Mhm.
and a huge wall, and it's a screen of the world.
Right.
And at every country, there's data
There's data
coming in.
Yeah.
What disease is there? What's getting tracked? How many people have the disease? How many people have died from the disease?
And potentially what it will do if it gets out.
All of this is there.
Ah!
Yeah.
Yes. But thank God for them.
Yeah,
Thank
no.
goodness that they exist, that organizations
hearts
like
in
that
it. This
exist.
is-
And
they
yes,
care.
and they care. They care.
They care.
Yeah.
So, scientist twice.
Two
Okay,
scientists.
let me say I'm a little disappointed given how many movies you've made.
Okay.
You gotta come through for
but
me
I've
now.
done a lot of science fiction, though, Neil.
Oh, yes! Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh!
I did a little.
I looked at the list, and I'm embarrassed to say, I've seen I gotta go on a
You gotta have a
Fishburne
Fishburne night.
binge.
You gotta have a Fishburne night. Where
yeah.
you get the movies, you line them up.
I'm gonna do a Fishburne
You
binge.
get your menu, you line up your menu.
We gotta do
You
a
know.
Fishburne binge
Yeah.
here.
Hmm.
And The Signal.
The Signal.
The
Yes,
Signal.
2017.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's
That was a great one. I played not quite a scientist in that, but a guy in a hazmat suit.
okay.
So it kind of qualifies.
Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, Search and
Passengers.
Rescue, Passengers,
Contagion.
Contagion,
The Colony.
The Colony.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Predators. What was that?
Predators was part of the Predator franchise.
Okay.
So it was.
That was in
the-
Predator 3, wasn't it?
No, it was like 4 or something.
Okay.
Basically, the premise was the Predator collected a group of really, really bad human beings and dropped them on this planet, which is basically the Predator's hunting ground. So it's like a convict,
so
a
they
serial
selected them
killer.
to be bad already.
They just selected them
so
to
none
be
of us
bad.
would miss them, I
Exactly.
guess. Okay.
And this is where the Predators go to practice their hunting.
Wow.
It was Adrian Brody, myself, Mahershala Ali, Alicia Braga, Topher
That would have been
Grace.
early for Mahershala Ali, right?
Yeah, it was. It was
I've looked
early.
at everything he's in.
Yeah, it was early for Mahershala, myself, Walton Goggins,
Okay.
and of course Danny Trejo.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty
All
cool
right.
movie, I gotta say.
Back on my list.
Yeah, Predators.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Four. I didn't know
Fantastic Four. I voiced the
you
Silver
weren't.
Surfer.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then of course this little thing I did called The Matrix.
The
Just little,
freaking Matrix.
that little movie. You know.
The Matrix.
Yeah, you know. I don't know who saw
I
that.
can't even look at my notes
I
anymore
didn't know
because
you
you just
just said
distracted
it
me.
was first of its kind.
The Matrix.
The
That's my
Matrix.
single favorite movie of all time.
Yogo 0% is now bursting with tropical flavors. Yogo 0%. Snack it up.
This is the quickest way
Shut
to clear
up.
out stuff.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know if you're ready to see what I want to show you, Neil, but
Don't try to out deep voice me.
okay.
Let's try it.
Okay.
Okay. I want to hear you do as best you can.
Yeah.
This is Star Talk.
Okay. This is Star Talk.
No, you're trying too hard there.
Oh,
It's gotta
you
come
don't
just out
try?
of
You need it. That wasn't naturalistic.
No, you were forcing that. Let me.
This.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's not about also how deep, it's about how deep you can go. And also be able to set it out. Put it out there. And you can do that. But I mean, you gotta really like do something. I'm not gonna do this.
It's Star Talk.
I'm Morpheus.
No. I'm Morpheus.
Why can't I be Morpheus?
Because you're not. Because I am.
It's so much robotic
No, we
chicken
just
Morpheus.
lost.
James Earl
James
Jones.
Earl
The
Jones.
great James Earl Jones.
So
Yeah.
I only barely met him. I was at a premiere of on Golden Pond with him playing opposite Felicia Rashad.
Right.
And but Darth Vader. I mean, come
Vader.
on,
Yeah.
Luke. I am your father.
Do
Let me
not
hear-
overestimate the power of your technological terror.
Let me hear Luke. I am your father.
No, Luke. I am your father.
All right.
Search your feelings. You know to be true.
CNN hasn't been the same ever since they stopped using his voice.
I'm
for that.
so like.
They're using all the correspondence. It's like, don't
Yeah,
you understand?
Exactly. I would love that gig.
No, I want the gig.
You want that gig?
No, I don't want you to
Okay,
have the gig.
we might have to fight about
No,
it now.
no, you lose.
Okay, you ready? You ready?
All right,
Let's try it.
here we go.
Ready?
Okay.
Let's audition. This is our audition for CNN. Ready?
Replacing
To
James
replace
Earl.
James
Okay.
Earl.
Want me to go first?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
This is CNN.
That's not bad. It's actually pretty good.
Oh.
This is CNN.
Ooh, that sounded a little more authoritative. Let me try again.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
Because you hit the syllable sharp there.
This is my wheelhouse. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. All right.
Come on.
This is CNN.
Nice, nice.
Mm.
This is CNN.
You got that little breath at the end.
You know what I mean?
I could put some breath in too.
You can put some breath in.
This is CNN.
All right, you got it. I'm gonna I acquiesce. It's your gig. You won. You got it.
So, how deep can you take your voice? Have you
Probably right about in here.
like below audio frequency levels?
I don't think it's I don't think it's
Sub
that
20
that-
hertz.
I don't know. It's that deep.
With 20 to 20,000, that's the traditional range.
Yeah, actually, I just put it through a thing. I go to the studio and they put it through a thing, and it
they'll
comes
take
out.
it down.
Yeah, and it
Take
sounds
it
like
down.
evil alien.
Let me see. I haven't done this in a while.
Okay.
And now, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
oh no.
Come on, baby.
Okay, so if you can do that voice, then it looks like Morgan Freeman got all the God jobs.
Yeah, he did. He did get all the almighties.
All the almighties.
He got all the everlastings and the almighties. Yeah.
Okay, so
But you got the cosmos.
yeah,
You got the
You
cosmos.
can't have a pipsqueak voice coming out of the
No,
universe.
you can't.
That doesn't work.
No. It's like burning bush. Gotta be down here.
You've got to be.
I
That's just
don't
the
know.
bias we have.
Yeah, it
I don't
does.
know.
Suppose God's voice was, "Hi everybody, I'm down."
Exactly.
There's no reason why it couldn't be high pitched.
Hi, I love you so much.
The reason why deep voices work better because it has more breadth to it. It feels like it's broader. It feels like it's from something that's bigger. And a small voice just feels like it's something that isn't very big. So that's just how it is. It's the frequency ratio relationship, all that shit.
I love you. All of you are my children, and I love you so much.
No one would believe it.
They would just like, okay, all right.
Now he has
I'm
to
of
be
the
a god
generation that remembers when
doing
TikTok was just a sound that a clock made. It seems like every day there's a new streaming service to join, and half the time I forget that I'm even signed up for them. Well, thanks to our sponsors at Rocket Money, you can now stay on top of your finances and track exactly what you're paying for. That's right. With Rocket Money, you can cancel subscriptions, lower your bills, and frankly, manage your money better. Rocket Money may even /Star Talk, or by clicking the link in the description to get started for free today. Now, back to the show.
Let me take you to the mat.
Let's go.
With the Matrix.
Let's go.
So one of the reasons why it's my favorite film is other than one little bit where the science, they play loose with the science.
right.
Okay. By the way, I don't mind that, provided a story is internally consistent. That's the big Comic-Con rule, really.
Ah, okay.
Okay. It's not what.
Look, when the problem with what they did with the what is it, reanimations or whatever? First of all, he was dead. Second of all, he's not even dead. Why wasn't he in that movie? So I don't get it. But like, they didn't fix the clouds. How stupid of a program do you have to be that you've existed in this for now multiple generations of people, and you haven't fucking fixed the clouds? Like, you didn't do that on a weekend. Are you kidding me? Nah. They wouldn't take forever to fix a fucking cloud.
Whether it's real science or not.
Right.
But if you're going to have a rule that operates in your story, stick with it.
Yeah, if you set up the rules of the world,
I'm perfectly happy.
you have to abide by those rules.
Correct.
Sure.
And that's what any video game is.
That's right.
That's
Any story.
any
story in any medium.
actually.
That's the stupidity of freaking Star Wars. He was in Star Wars. Wasn't he? Were you not in Star Wars, dude? The point is, when they make a new movie and they incorporate different Star Wars Force powers, and then they're like, why weren't we doing this from the beginning and everything? You realize that you could hand wave it and say, well, we didn't have all these other powers available because we wanted to keep them secret from the dark side, because if they knew all this shit, they'd be way more powerful than they ever was. And they was already too powerful. We needed some kind of an edge. But it becomes annoying. So when you reinvent the wheel, when you expand on the power supplies that could be in Star Wars, you really need to just revamp, because you have to start from scratch, or you have to start from a realm where this has already been understood and it has always existed, instead of we're just now figuring this out. Because really,
It's any story in any medium.
Yeah.
That I agree.
Yeah.
And so it did it so well, and it was such a fantasy adventure and and good and evil, and I don't know. It was beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
And so just my kudos to the Wachowskis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a brilliant idea and a brilliant execution of a brilliant
So
idea.
apparently, rumor tells that Will Smith's agent was not convinced by the story enough to have him
Play Neo.
play Neo.
Okay.
And so, what about the story intrigued you? Yes, moved to Australia for 5 months or whatever.
For 2 years, basically.
2 years, yeah.
Basically, I mean, we were there for 3 years doing all 3 movies.
Okay.
Essentially, what drew my interest in it was...
So it wasn't too weird for you. See, I don't know what this is.
Maybe it was the scheduling.
Oh, so
I
maybe
understood it
Will
when I
Smith's
read
people
it.
couldn't
Here's the thing.
cross that.
There was a guy, one of the main producers on it, was obviously Joel Silver was one of the producers. There's another guy named Lorenzo Bonaventura who was one of the producers, and he was, I think, the guy who was like showing this to the studio executives, to the people who make the decisions. And a lot of the story
What do they call
is
the shirts or the jackets?
the suits, whatever.
The suits.
So the executives, right? And many of them were. The story is that many of them just didn't get it. They were like, "We don't understand this." And what I've heard is that Lorenzo's response to that was, "Don't worry, no one under 30 understands it anyway."
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So I was 30.
I understood it like after I saw it for the 4th time. I didn't understand it when I understood it for the first time. You have to rewatch it, and then you get some of the different nuances, you get different ideas. I thought, like, oh, you were breathing? What are you breathing? And then once you understand that you're in a simulation, and now I've seen Virtuosity, it's a very similar thing. And you're in a simulation, and then you have these other things. You think they're breathing air? It's like you're not breathing air. You're in a virtual reality simulation. And they had that. They had artificial intelligence. They had robots with the ability to repair themselves with glass, which is ridiculous.
435 or something.
Way too
when
fast.
I read it. And it was the most original thing I'd ever read. That didn't mean that everyone was going to get it. That didn't mean that everybody was going to understand it. That's what my experience with Apocalypse Now had taught me. Because when I made Apocalypse Now in the 1970s, it was the most expensive movie ever made. It was the most ambitious movie ever made during that period of time. Marlon Brando was in the movie.
I haven't seen
Martin
it yet.
Sheen was in the movie, and it was about the Vietnam War, and it was exciting, and John Milius wrote the screenplay, and all these wonderful elements. But the movie commercially did not do well. It was a critical success, but it was not a commercial success. So I had learned that even though something on the page or as a concept is
Yeah, I
brilliant,
haven't seen it
that
yet.
doesn't mean it's going to translate with an audience,
been 30
particularly an
years.
American audience. One never knows. The American audience
It's fickle.
is mercurial, man. It's, you know. So I just knew that it was the most original thing that I had ever read, and I understood it, I got it, and I wanted to be a part of it.
When it comes to mortgages, you'll often hear about both
Got it, and I wanted to be a part of it. And the timing just so happened that the way that it all sort of came together, we shot the movie in 1998. The movie came out in 1999. The internet was born in 1998, essentially. Cell phones became a reality in 1999.
Just the digital world
The digital world
descended on everyone.
on everyone. And essentially what the story is and why it resonates with everybody all over the planet, and it did at that time, is because it's the old myth told in a digital format. And we were right.
So it had
at the
deep
birth-
resonance.
Yeah, we were right at the birth of the digital age.
Okay. And so, but is that rumor true that Will Smith turned it down?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've heard that before, but
Yeah,
I
you've
don't
heard
know.
that.
I've never really sat down with Will and
Yeah.
asked him about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Because that when I heard that, I said, how does an actor know what role you should or shouldn't take?
Well, You know, it
it's just
depends
not-
on who you are and, you know,
If
what
you're true
your
to
thing
yourself,
is.
it doesn't even matter. You
It
just
doesn't.
be true to yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's anybody's guess. Maybe that's the case. I don't know.
The thing about Will and the first thing, 6 Degrees of Separation and all that, he wanted to do things where, like, he's been a lot of main roles. Morpheus isn't a main role. He's one of the main roles, but he's mostly a side role. He's not a main focus. So there's that. But also, like, Apocalypse Now thing, like, that's a side role. Like, you're just being in there to be a part of, like, the back end of a thing. You're not actually directly in it. Just like the kid in a movie with freaking Indiana Jones is just a small part of a thing. It just matters about, well, what are you actually contributing to the thing, and how will this also infect whatever else you're able to accomplish? And you gotta pick and choose, and there you go.
I've never sat down and asked Will about it.
Okay. Can I share with you all my religious observations?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Catholic, religious Christian Catholic observations.
As you are a Catholic.
Well, I was
You were
raised one,
raised
but
Catholic, right? Okay.
that
Please. Yes.
My doubts
Yes.
descended early.
Yeah. Well, a religion rifled with doubt.
Yeah, but I'm still fascinated by the fact that there's such a thing as religion in the world,
Mhm.
and billions of people
Practice.
that practice it, right?
Yeah.
That intrigues me as an educator.
Right,
Because
right.
something is attracting them. What is it? And why? And you're this religion over here because that was the
Mhm.
religion of your parents.
Right.
And you're sure your religion is the one true religion in the world.
Mhm.
But so are these people, are
Mhm.
just as sure as you are.
Everyone.
And will go to war on that.
Historically, a
Yes,
fact.
historically, correct.
Yes.
So that's why religion intrigues me.
Mhm.
So, in the Matrix, so first, Neo, that's an anagram of
The one.
the one. You had to dip your head at the one.
The one.
You can't non-act that
No.
expression. The one.
The one.
So that's the one.
Right.
All right. He's the savior.
Right.
All right. So now watch.
The Christ.
Yeah. Okay. So now
Buddha.
watch. Early in the film, he wakes up from his
Right.
and there's someone knocking at the door, and apparently he hacked something for them,
Right.
and is about to give them. And so he says, "Wait a minute." And he goes back, rummages through a thing,
Right.
gives him a
Little
disc,
thing. Right.
and the guy says, "Thanks. You know, okay, you're my savior. You're my regular
Yeah.
Jesus Christ."
Yeah. You're
That's-
my own personal Jesus Christ.
That's a script line.
That's right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right there.
Right there. Okay. But
Yeah.
let's not stop there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we keep going. There's the part where he gets brought into the Nebuchadnezzar
Mm-hmm.
for the first time. So
Mhm.
he's still wrapped and looking around. And there's
Joe Pants.
Joey Pants.
Yeah, Joey Pants. Yeah.
Pantaleano.
Pantaleano.
And he's there, and he's just looking, and then that character,
So you're supposed
Cypher,
to save the
is
world.
startled. And he says, "Oh, you scared the bejesus out of me."
Yeah, that's two.
Okay, so hang on.
That's two. Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Who betrays the group?
Cypher.
Cypher!
Yes.
He betrayed.
He's
Who?
the Judas.
Who? He's Judas.
Yeah, he's the Judas. Yeah.
He's Judas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the bejesus was scared out.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't have Jesus
He
in him.
doesn't have Jesus.
Well, he
in
was
him.
already
Okay.
look.
All right. What?
He was literally doing like whatever programs and things that he was doing. Like he's already been doing stuff. It's not after it, whatever. It's always whatever.
Let me keep going.
Keep going,
Okay.
if you can.
I'm-
Because you think you know the movie better than I do,
Well,
and you might.
I don't know.
You might. Let's go.
Here's the
Let's
thing.
go.
It's my favorite movie, and you've made 100 movies.
Right.
So.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So then.
It's like a
Everyone
specialist
sort of
versus
decides that
generalist.
he's the one.
He's the one.
Right. When he's like pulling Trinity up.
Oh,
from the
yes, yeah,
helicopter
yeah.
as it comes in.
Yeah.
He is the one.
I told you he is the one.
He is the one.
Do you believe it now, Trinity?
I don't know what it means to compliment you on exactly imitating what you were paid to do in a movie. And I would say, hey, you should be that character.
Too late. Already been done.
No, but the weird thing is, you're not imitating that character. You were that character.
Yes. Yes.
Even that.
Yes.
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 Yes. So, let's fast forward towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
He gets shot, point blank,
Right.
by Smith.
Yes.
In the hallway.
Study music production online with Berkeley's
Yes. Right. Yes.
In the virtual hallway.
Then he
He
drops.
drops.
He keeps firing into him.
Yes.
Okay? Look, just, all right. Do you know how many bullets he put in him?
I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
I will tell you.
Tell me.
Okay? It requires a little bit extrapolation.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
The bullets you see,
Mm-hmm.
it's like 4 bullets point blank to the chest.
Okay.
At that point, we go back to the Nebuchadnezzar,
Mm-hmm.
and you see his body,
Yes.
responding.
Right.
Okay? But what if you track the rate that bullets are being fired
Yeah.
and continue them into that scene?
Mm-hmm.
Then we come out of the scene,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a few more bullets that you observe.
Right.
That's 14 bullets.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
There are
Right.
14 stations of the cross
I didn't
in a
know
Catholic
that.
church.
I didn't know that.
Now, for the non-Catholics out there, in every church, Catholic church, typically in the pillars that surround the main open area
Yeah.
from the side areas, mounted facing inward, are 14 drawings, paintings, relief
Got it.
maps of the 14. They're called stages of the cross.
Got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they're key moments in
In the life.
Jesus' life,
Oh.
and it's an early movie, really.
Oh.
The word movie doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
Right, but a
But
sequence.
it's visual.
It's a visual sequencing,
representation.
okay?
Yeah.
And it's all of it, and it's
Interesting.
he's tried under Pontius Pilate.
Uh-huh.
He carries the cross.
Uh-huh.
He's put up on the cross.
Oh.
He dies on the cross.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
yeah. Got it.
So it's all you can look it up on any.
Okay.
You can
14
find
stages
it.
of the cross.
Yes.
14 bullets.
Hmm.
Now,
Interesting.
and he dies.
Right.
Then he's resurrected.
Resurrected right
It
there.
comes back more powerful than ever before.
That's right.
Well, I mean,
Is that not Jesus?
That's Jesus all time.
Joining
all
the
day.
side of God.
That's Jesus all day.
All
yeah, but like in that he was done that in virtual reality. Also, his flat line was real. But then you have to wonder, okay, hold on. He's connected to this thing, but he's also connected to something else. And his ability to do things in a simulated way to control with the signals from his brain the outside in a Wi-Fi type connection to the net and to the bots themselves to make them do things. It's like he's not shooting lightning out of his hands, but his brain signal, boom, they do a thing. That is crazy. That happens in number 2.
day.
Yeah.
All day, all night.
day. So who's Trinity?
Well, okay, so we got it. Like
In the Catholic.
that would have to be Mary Magdalene.
Okay.
Well, no, his thing is Trinity is the other half. It's where the Messiah complex doesn't have to be in one soul. It can be in 2. And so it's split, divided, so that none of the 2 parts can be completely destroyed. You always have both as long as one of them exists. And then the one and the other one are able to then combine together, and their love for each other is what made it even stronger, supposedly. But let's face it, that was all like just a beautiful thing that they put in together for the 4th one as well.
But I'm thinking, let
Well,
me
she
not go
does
that
take
far.
him to a sex club. That's where they meet. At the sex club.
Was that a sex club?
That's a sex club.
No,
Yeah.
Yes.
they were just dancing.
No, it's a
No.
sex club.
I
You
missed
look behind and you looking deep in the background. They didn't allow them to show all of that, but it's a sex club.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary Magdalene, right there.
And who's Morpheus
Uh,
in the Christ mythology?
I know. I'm trying to.
He's
He would have been like Peter or Paul, whatever.
Baptist.
John the Baptist?
He's John the Baptist.
Oh,
Yeah, that.
because John the Baptist knows Jesus is coming.
Yes, he knows who he
And
is.
sets everything up.
And he's been looking for him.
And he's been looking for him.
And when he meets him, he goes, I'm supposed to be baptized by you.
So what separates a
Yeah.
good financial plan and
I'm supposed to be baptized by you. So that's who Morpheus is in the Christ mythology.
In the Christ.
But there's also mythology, Greek mythology. with
Tell
it.
me. Tell me.
There's, well, Morpheus is the Lord of Dream. He's the god of dream
All right.
from Greek mythology, right? Persephone, who's in the second or third movie, who's played by Monica Bellucci.
Hmm.
The Oracle is Greek.
Yes, that's actual Oracle.
The Oracle
Yeah.
is Greek.
Yeah.
Right.
Too bad we lost her before the second
Yeah,
film.
Yeah.
She was
And
really
then
a
the
strong
names-
character.
Niobe.
There's an element on the periodic table called niobium.
Is there?
Yes,
I
there
didn't know
is.
that. I
Because
didn't know
there's something about the colors that were
Mhm.
sort of iridescent and radiant.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's something about in the Greek legend,
Right.
Niobe, I don't know the full story,
hmm
but it borrowed that from Greek legend,
Right.
niobium.
So there's the Osiris, there's the Nebuchadnezzar, which is also biblical.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's also the size of a very large bottle of wine,
is it?
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar.
You tend to find it only in Champagne because that's when
Wow.
it's
Kingly.
a party.
It's kingly.
Yeah, it's a party for 30 people.
30 people,
And you just
right.
lean the bottle for
Okay.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar,
Is the size
okay.
of a bottle
So
of wine.
there's the Gnosis, there's
Mhm.
the Osiris.
Okay, so
Persephone.
I don't want to say mashup because that might undersell it.
Yeah.
Right,
It's drawing from
But
these
it's drawing
very
from
deep.
all these traditions. It
Yeah.
draws from Western tradition,
Mhm.
spiritually, religiously, and Eastern tradition, spiritually,
Mhm.
and philosophically as
Yes,
well.
especially
Yeah.
because scenes are not just simple scenes. You have to
No.
think about them.
No.
What's
Exactly.
going on here and why?
Right. Like
Yeah.
when I saw the film for the first time, I had forgotten about all of that because we had to train so hard to get the physical stuff right
Right.
Yeah.
that I forgot about all of the philosophy and all of the sort of
Right, you
religious
come in and film
tenets.
your scene and go back to
that-
the trailer.
It's
right?
it's not that simple. It's not
Okay.
that simple. It was a year of work, but so much of it was physical, and we had to work so hard to do that
Mhm.
Yeah.
that
all
I
the moves and
really
everything.
forgot about the stuff that's in the dialogue. Like my favorite stuff is in that first encounter I have with him, and I'm asking him, "Do you know why you're here?"
You
And
didn't
I'm
say that right.
saying,
Do you know why you're here? See,
and this is what has brought you to me, and that whole thing about, do you know what the Matrix is? And I go, it's all around us. You can feel it when you go to church. All that stuff.
Yeah.
That's my favorite stuff because it's
Uh-huh.
very,
When you do your
it's
taxes.
really cryptic and it's really
And
scary.
ethereal.
And ethereal and very
And
scary.
you have to deliver it that way. Otherwise, it's just a line.
Yeah, it's just a line. But,
Yeah, you have to live
that's some of
inside
my,
that
and I had forgotten about all that stuff that's in it, and
Okay.
even the stuff with like Joe Pants and the agents when he's talking to them
Mm-hmm.
and he's having the dinner.
Oh yes.
He's having his steak.
That's
So
almost
Mm.
ASMR.
yeah.
Okay, because he's eating the steak and he pushes the
And he's eating it, and he's like, I know this steak isn't real,
yeah, but my mind
and I don't care.
is telling me it.
Yeah.
So we have a deal.
Oh yeah. And I don't want to remember nothing. Nothing.
You
All
put
that
it back in
stuff
my
is-
body.
All that stuff is just, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Every so that's the religious line
Mhm.
through it,
hmm
and no one doesn't love the idea of a savior. I mean, this is
That's right.
and a plausible savior, right? He didn't show
Right.
up as Superman,
No.
right?
No.
He had to find it in himself,
Exactly.
just the way the Oracle had required. of
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So that's why it's your favorite movie, because it reminds you of Jesus?
No. No, I respect storytelling
Right.
and the stories that have outlived civilizations.
And the story of the Christ is indeed
That's there.
a powerful
That's
story.
there. It's very
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful. So there's all of that, and then there's a few more things.
Mhm.
Okay, they tossed in. There was a little bit. They stapled it on when the Oracle says, oh, "Watch out for that glass." And he says, what glass?
Oh, yeah.
And he turns around
That
and it
vase.
drops.
And he drops
And she
it, yeah.
says, that glass.
Yeah.
Now here's going to be eating your craw.
Mm.
Would you have done it if I didn't?
If you'd had- exactly.
Okay, it's one of these future, trying to avoid the future, make that future happen.
Sure.
So I thought that was unnecessary because the movie was already deep.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and that was
Sure.
almost cliche sci-fi
that-
time,
Sure.
future.
The fact of the system being able to influence the stuff that makes it so it's like you are already here in such a way because we have understanding of what it is that you might think about, and also he happened to be standing close enough that when he turned around, would he think about the vase? What was it in his forefront of his mind before he came in, or was he thinking about her? And then he wasn't thinking about the vase, so he didn't lift his arm enough when he turned around to be able to do the thing smoothly and nicely like a person with eloquence. But he was focused on something else, something more pressing and important, and he wanted answers and stuff, and it's important.
Predict.
Sure.
I thought the movie was above that, but fine.
Okay. I liked it. I thought it was clever because of what they did, the way they set it up.
It is
with the know thyself
it is a
sign.
key.
Oh,
above.
yeah, right.
It is a key
And they
point.
set it up with that.
Uh-huh.
And also that she's grandma and she's baking cookies.
Yeah, no, it was
First of
a
all,
full.
Her baking cookies, and she's in the projects. Like
Yes.
she lives in the projects.
Those are the I don't know if people know that those are the projects.
That's
No.
But
that
did they have
made it
projects in
brilliant.
Australia?
Well, we weren't supposed to be in Australia.
No.
It takes place in a modern city.
Yeah, I think ostensibly Chicago.
It's basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I only know that because I have the original script.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And so it's the L going
It's the
by.
L. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. They
and
wanted
the,
to shoot it there,
and
but
the heart
unfortunately couldn't do it.
of the city.
Heart of the city.
Heart of the city.
Heart of the city.
Hotel.
Yes.
And Wabash Avenue.
And Wabash.
Yeah,
And
that's-
Wabash. Yeah.
Wabash
Exactly.
is a main street in
Exactly.
Chicago.
Exactly.
And that's an explicitly stated street.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying,
Yes.
where did you guys get the projects in Australia to film in?
Oh, there were it was all location. It wasn't location. That wasn't a location. That was a soundstage.
Oh, just set that up.
Yeah.
Okay, very well done.
Yeah.
That felt like the project.
It did.
Okay,
It did.
I grew up in projects, and that
Yeah, it
mine
felt
were
like the
middle income projects, so
Yeah.
there were fewer junkies.
Yeah. No, but it felt like the project.
Yeah.
I mean, it really did.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
They got
Yeah,
that.
they got it right.
And a couple of things. By
What
the
did you
way,
think about the spoon?
I'm getting there. That was my next thing.
Sorry. Sorry.
So I give a public talk, one of which you attended.
Yeah.
I think you attended it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is called "An Astrophysicist Goes to the Movies,"
Yes.
and
Yes.
I show clips.
Yeah.
And then I analyze the clip.
Yeah.
Okay. And The Matrix has a dozen clips. I don't put them all in one thing because
Right.
it's scientifically themed, not movie
Themed, right.
Right. So I have a section on optics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With the spoon,
Yes.
one side is convex, one side is concave.
Right.
You slurp out of the concave side.
Yes.
Concave, convex.
Yes.
If you look into a spoon, on the convex side,
Right.
you are distorted but right side up.
Frickin'.
On the concave side,
it's upside down.
you are
I'm gonna have to say that I do know, and I notice that I'm not putting in a lot of input here, but it's very there's very little that has to actually be deliberated or whatever else. There's like it's biography instead of trying to describe a science thing. There are many different parts that it's like, okay, there's it's similar to this or that, and it's like, okay, sure. But the thing is, he wakes up. The thing I should say, for those of you who haven't seen the movie, watch The Matrix. But like, he wakes up, and he wakes up because, or he wakes up simultaneously with the computer saying something, and then the computer says knock knock, knowing full well that the person is on the other side. In reality, the fun part is simulations don't have to be in our time. They can be in sped up time, so that they can be aware of it, and then it'll happen, and they have to script it and say it with respect to the simulation that's happening. But in the Matrix, I think it's actually a one-to-one. A minute is a minute in the simulation. It doesn't speed up or slow down. But you could.
Upside down, and that was accurately captured in the frickin' movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
The science was right.
The optics of that
The
science.
optics of the science was right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was cool.
I like that.
I mean, you observe a spoon,
and the
and you're
kids say-
like, well, we'll just simulate a spoon that looks like a spoon that is, instead of like, it's a straight mirror, it'll be the opposite. It's like,
Do not try to move do not try to bend the spoon.
That's impossible.
That's impossible.
Instead, bend yourself around the spoon.
Yeah.
I said, that's good. That's good.
that's not what they said. It's Instead, you have to realize the truth. There isn't a spoon. And then when you realize that there is a program there, then you realize you just need to bend yourself. And he's able to do it because he is incorporated with the system. Other people aren't. And that potential is there to be a voice of. And so when you see in the second movie that gave him a wrapped up spoon, the physicality of it is you are connected to things in reality as well. A deeper understanding, which says about foreshadowing the end of this movie, you're going to be doing something physical with real world stuff happening.
Genius,
No,
man.
it's good.
It's genius.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Now, here's another thing. I let it go because everyone does it, but I'm telling you that in almost every movie where they show people crazily brilliant,
Yeah.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the point of the movie.
Right.
Because they're brilliant.
Right.
Like Phenomenon, for example, with John Travolta.
John Travolta.
Right. He
Which
was hit by...
I've never seen that film.
Okay,
so
it's worth,
It's
Saturday
worth taking a look
afternoon
at.
if
Okay.
you're at home.
Cool.
He gets hit by lightning, and
Mhm.
he was just a regular guy.
yeah.
Right.
Even partly mocked for not being smart.
Oh,
and then he
wakes up and he's...
Yeah, well, after he's hit by lightning, and Robert Duvall is in that as the person studying his new abilities.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow, the point is, he says, name me 10 mammals or something. You want it in alphabetical order? And then he goes through the whole alphabet.
Right.
All right? So, yes, a really brilliant, smart person would do that.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. But in almost all these cases, they start moving stuff with their
minds.
With their minds.
Yes.
And it's like,
Yes.
there's no evidence that smart people can move stuff. You just figure things out faster.
Not true. Because the more smart you are, the more neurological pathways you can develop. If you can start, again, with the movie Alice, or Lucy. Lucy. The thing with that movie is that it's another James Earl Jones movie. Anyway, the thing with that movie is that who the fuck did I say? James Earl Jones? It's not him. Never mind. The point is, the more you're able to control the neurons in your brain, you could be able to say send signals to my finger, for example, and then your finger is able to get signals constantly, making electrical frequencies in your hand. You can do this, you're just not programmed to do it because it'll fry your hand. But the point is, if you do that a certain way, you can make a magnetic field and you can manipulate things. That's not impossible. It's just not physically practiced a lot. There's a lot of like, I have practiced a type of Jeet Kune Do or whatever else. Another thing that they practiced was this brain electrical thing where if you have, for example, like I can manipulate signals in my head by where my hands are. So if I point to a certain part of my head, I can send a signal to my head and have that focus point be where I have pain end up becoming. So I can move it around. I can take my headache and I can make it bigger, or I can spread it out. I can physically do this. So there's that. And the problem is you got to get better at it. And then you're only manipulating stuff within your body, but that's still something. It's not fake. It's only because your body is able to make the responses. When you're able to control your body even better and make signals that are powerful enough that, for example, if I were to have this finger, here, let me explain. I have had static electricity or whatever else that without touching the screen, it will do
Okay. Right.
the play button without me having to touch it because it's based off of different sensors or whatever. So it can do that. These technologies are able to do that. So I'm able to essentially touch it without physically touching it. Or you could make a electric field and you can like manipulate a small static electric charge for like a string to be able to be attached to or something. But again, not with lots of practice or the right manipulative of your neurons and stuff, and still you can't do much with it. And it takes a lot. It can burn your hand if you do the wrong thing. What?
I'll give you that. We start moving things.
Right.
And then there was Lucy. Did you see
Yes,
Lucy?
I
You have
remember
to see
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah, I saw Lucy.
Okay, Morgan Freeman was in that.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she starts using more of her mind, changes her hair color as she's walking down the street.
Right.
You know, stops bullets. You know, you got to be in the Matrix to stop bullets.
Right.
Come on now.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't care how powerful you are with your mind, being able to change your hair color is not possible. I'm sorry. Your body doesn't have like the physicality of your hair strands doesn't have the ability, like you can change the hair and what it would become. That's still on the root level. It has to grow out. So that is ridiculous. But when it comes down to if you could manipulate physically all the different stuff that could make your hair change color, then you don't have to worry about the signals part and whatever else. But you could having someone have a mental expansion so that their hair will become a different color after it's grown, that's something that's possible because you can control exactly what, like, the keratin or whatever else and stuff that can go into it and how much it will become brown or how much it will become, and you can make it orange, you can make it whatever you want. But it still has to grow out. Come on.
So anyhow, so the hopefuls who
Mm-hmm.
were waiting in line to see
Oh,
the
the
oracle.
potentials.
Yeah, the potentials. Yeah.
Mm.
So they were doing things.
Yeah, the one kid was moving the blocks.
The
and
blocks
all
in the air. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, fine.
All right.
It's fine.
It's a nice visual. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's still in the
Um,
Matrix.
Also, the oracle is establishing that Trinity.
We didn't have anyone send a block to him. We sent a spoon. And that means bending something you're connected to. The blocks, however, is a different thing, and it's something you can do in the Matrix. You can't do it outside of the Matrix. Unless you're also, again, connected to a bunch of nanites and whatever else, then you can control them, and they become like this thin armor on you, and then they start moving stuff, or they're separate entire being, and then you're just having patty cake with a giant being in the sky.
In love with him,
Right.
and he's oblivious to that.
Mm.
Okay, I was kind of oblivious to that too. I mean, I'm just, guys are just generally stupid, about these things.
Mm.
So, and
I
she
knew
says,
she
"You're not
liked
too
him."
smart either."
Not too bright.
Not
huh?
too bright.
I wonder what she sees in you. Ooh, not too bright either. Yeah, it's great. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, because given the choice, you'll have Morpheus in one and Trinity in the other, and so I think it
These are the two
was
strongest people in your
brilliantly
lives.
acted by Keanu Reeves,
Mm.
where he's in the car and they're driving.
Here's the thing, right? What if you said, these are the people that you have the ability to affect. What if there are other lives and whatever else, and you think about these things and you try to influence that, but it comes to the conclusion of what will they end up wanting to do. It's very vague because it is very vague. It's just an idea, an impression of what will they do. And large language models and whatever else predictive programs can think so far ahead that, yeah, they can predict the future and whatever else to a certain degree based off of what already has been witnessed. This is just how things are. Also, a screenwriter can do the same thing.
And he said, "Good sushi,
Used to have noodles. I used to eat noodles there. I used to eat there. Good noodles, really good noodles.
really good noodles."
Yeah.
And he says, "None of that's real." And I'm inside of him feeling this.
Because
Yeah.
I can't go back, can I?
Right. This is.
He's like, even if you could, would you want to?
Yeah, I mean, that was
Yeah.
one of the hardest choices
Mhm.
because so many of us, I mean, that's another thing. Forget all the religious, mythological
Right,
sentiment.
Right.
It's what do you
Your-
value more? Cypher said, "Put me back in my body. I
Right.
don't want, I
Yeah,
don't want,
I don't want to know anything.
I don't want to know anything."
Mhm.
But I'm a scientist and I'm curious. I'd kind of rather know the truth
Right.
It's the other
because
thing about struggle
there's some
versus
chance, some hope that you can do something about the truth.
Or you can do something with it.
Do something with it.
the other thing
It's
is,
all just a delusion.
what if there are people that they constrict into a mental hive for them? They could just have people in the Matrix help them figure out how to fix the fucking cloud, how to fix organic stuff, so they can make fuels, to make generators, to make power sources for themselves, so they can be more reliant on everything else instead of them. But this is not the approach that they're taking. They're like, oh, we can help you make generators so you don't have to worry about us. Because that was the main thing. They're worried about needing power, and that's how they get power, from the microscopic energies that are inside of you. Is like a battery, and we're taking that power and we're using it. It takes way more power to make a person. apparently it's also possible to make all the food and stuff without without the sunlight and everything. Like, how could you ever accomplish that and have that be the power supply and whatever else? There's so many holes in the freaking Matrix movie. But the fact that they haven't fixed the clouds is the most thing that pissed me off. But I mean, if you think about it, without things that are living, how did you ever make that much power? You take it out of the neurological energy? You expect me to believe that? Even with millions of us with the neurological energy, you don't make enough power with the human race or 10 times the human race to be able, so like 100 billion people, you don't have enough energy to power a supercomputer for 10 seconds, much less continuously, or tons of machines and whatever else.
I don't know that I want that to be my
Right.
life.
Exactly.
Let me tell you my one issue.
Right.
I only have one.
The only one thing that scientifically just rubs you the wrong way.
Rubs me the wrong way, and the rest of the movie was so brilliantly done. I'm giving it a hall pass.
My man. Hall pass on the Matrix.
Here's your hall
That's
pass.
what's up.
All right. So,
Say it's the
you got
cloud.
the scene where you are describing to Neo where he is.
Right.
There's a chair there.
The
easy
construct.
chair.
We're in the construct.
We're in the construct.
Right.
And it's white
Which
everywhere.
part
Right.
are you
And
bothered
brilliantly
by?
done, and there's no echo.
Right.
That was perfectly done. All right. You describe to him that the machines are using humans
As batteries.
as batteries.
As a power source,
As a
essentially.
power source.
Right.
And there's some other language in there just to
Right.
flesh out that scenario.
Right.
Here's a problem. In the laws of thermodynamics, if you have a certain amount of energy here, and you turn it into another kind of energy, for example, there's chemical energy in gasoline.
Right.
You put that in your car, it turns it into kinetic energy to move your car. You ingest food, which is chemical energy, and you keep your body at body temperature, even though it's colder outside. When you're a comfortable 72 degrees, your body is still maintaining 98 degrees.
Inside.
If you put anything outside at 98 degrees, it'll go down to 72 degrees. Even though you're saying that's a really comfortable, your body's actively maintaining your body temperature. That takes energy.
Right.
Your body's moving. You're running.
Right.
You're acting. That
Yeah.
takes energy.
Right.
Okay?
Where'd it
It
go?
turns out, anytime you convert energy from one form to another, you don't get 100% of it.
You don't get 100%.
No, you get like,
Oh.
at best, 90%. Your car, I forgot the numbers, the efficiency's grown over the years. Car might get 30%
Yeah.
of the energy of the gas to have
Right.
you move forward.
Got it.
You know where the rest goes? Into heat.
So would you ever buy a new car?
No, I don't think so, to be honest. Engine gets hot.
The
Got it.
depreciation
Of a
gets
combustion
gross, is
engine
what he
car.
said.
Okay.
We just take it for granted. Of course it's going to get hot. Wait a minute, that's energy I wanted to use to go forward. That's miles per gallon wasted as heat.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you convert from one form of energy
to another.
to another form of energy.
Okay.
Okay? So now,
So then you take that heat, put it into a Stirling engine, old technology, but I mean, Stirling engines, they literally convert the difference of outside cold and inside heat. The pressure difference of the air changes in that thing to make more energy. So then why can't you just use that and then also use it to generate more momentum at the same time? So like the hotter things get, then you have these Stirling engines all over the place. They're generating energy and electricity and stuff. And it's a whole type of efficiency system that's like, just by being hot, this system is generating so much power. It's underutilized. It's wasted. And it could be converted into power. And it's like there's so many things that we could do that we're not doing. I don't know why.
laws of thermodynamics dictate that It's not 100%. You don't get 100% of your energy. All right. Here are the machines using humans as a form of energy. I can tell you how much energy we radiate. Okay. We, depending on how big you are, all right, if you're exercising or not in that moment, typically between 80 and 100 watts.
Okay.
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 80 or 100 watt light bulb. That's how much. That's what we are.
The human.
So we used a battery, and that's fine, rather than a bulb.
Yeah.
The same idea.
Yeah.
Same idea. That's not what matters here.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We are an energy source for the machines. They're tapping our 100 watts.
I mean, if we had a car battery, I believe it.
Where do we get our 100 watts from? They're feeding us.
They're feeding us.
Yeah.
They're feeding us.
Right.
Whatever they're feeding us, feed themselves with that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bypass the literal middleman.
Yeah, the middleman. Why?
You don't need the middleman at all.
Right. Okay.
You don't feed humans, have them generate energy, and then have that energy generate the machine.
Okay.
Well, what are you doing?
Okay.
They didn't study physics.
Yeah.
Probably not.
But then there wouldn't be a movie.
There wouldn't be a great movie.
You just
Yeah.
There'd be like
no people.
There'd be just like a movie that you watch and you never get those 2 hours back again, and you don't have the memories.
Well, I mean, look, you would have the movie about, basically you would have, there are 2 sketches in the Animatrix about how the Matrix originally began and stuff. And that would be your movie. And then robots took over. They have power and stuff now. Not to mention, you could just take power from the lightning maybe, but that's not super reliable. You could get geothermal power. That's where we get our power. And somehow we're surviving and stuff on our own. Why wouldn't they just dig down and get geothermal and whatever else? It's all assholes.
And you don't have the appreciation and the cultural, significance.
It was
of the
so
picture.
worthy of a hall pass.
Yeah,
I
it is.
gladly
It really
signed
is.
it.
It really is.
Gladly signed it over.
The idea that human beings are batteries is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and
Yeah,
it's
it's a cool
true.
idea.
And it's true. Speaking of hall passes, I was once principal for the day at a middle school in the Bronx.
I mean,
There was a program where they bring you in and you see
hold on. You're trying to tell me that all of the stuff that you can put into a human, you can actually supposedly just turn it into a machine battery more efficiently than just feeding some stuff to a human. Besides the generating heat that we're doing constantly, we can take energy out of the heat, we can take electricity out of the synapses, and all of that, and it turns into more power than he estimated. Point is, and also, when you're not even moving, when you're not even conscious, apparently they're still moving around in there, which is messed up. So like you could be smashing your fists against the walls of the thing. It's like that takes more energy. And you could use potentiometers, whatever else, to get the energy out of your motions as well. They didn't do that. It's a lot of hand wave.
schools are run and
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So I didn't tell him. I snuck out the pad, the principal's pad. That says principal on the top.
Yeah.
I still have it in my. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell.
That's got to be the most
Safe with
powerful
me.
thing.
Safe with me. Safe with me.
The principal's notepad.
Exactly.
Right. So I can, if I sign a hall pass, it's legit.
all good. It's all good.
It's all good.
Cool.
So I let that one slide.
That's
that was
good, man.
But
Well,
it was
thanks.
it was a brilliantly delivered scene with the battery. You don't say Duracell, but we all know what the copper top is.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that was very well done.
And then one character refers to him as Copper Top in the
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Derogatorily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the film raised a point early on.
Mm-hmm.
It was early.
Mm.
By the way, just so you know, there's someone generally credited with advancing the idea that we could be living in a matrix. His name is Nick Bostrom,
Okay.
and those are into dumpster diving. We have him as a guest on an earlier episode
interesting.
of
Okay.
Star Talk. He's an Oxford philosopher,
Right.
and you can hypothesize that if we have the ability to create a world in a computer, and
Yeah.
the characters in that world think they have free will, then how do you know you're not one of those characters that are
13th floor.
created? Now, if they have free will and they invent computers and they want game time,
Literally the
they might
13th floor.
create a computer world within their computers.
They did that.
And if they think they have free will,
And they could do the same thing.
and it's that
And
all the way
infinite.
down.
Yeah, just all the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what our simulation did was they basically were in 1990s. So what we did in the 1990s was we made a simulation of, and it was a good simulation, basically using a similar code, but it was of a technological, like, they made it into the Wild West. That was the deep end. So you have the deep end where you have the person at the bank, and then he pulls it out of the deep end into the middle realm, which is the main simulation. And then we look at that and whatever else, and he goes into that body. But then he goes further out, and he ends up from the deep end to the middle. Now he's in a regular flesh and blood body. He has taken over what the other person was. It's possible to go from the deep to the second level. In the 13th floor, very spoiler. The point is, you cannot go from the 13th, from the base simulation into a person's brain and take over their body. You will not do that. There's no way that a simulation implanting itself into my brain will be able to, like, the thing about it is, like, it was a copy of him to be able to make the avatar or whatever else and stuff similar, but it's not like you could just put that back in to the actual physical human. The stuff that happens there is well, we're getting far off topic, but the stuff that happens there is just too vast and complex. You could never actually escape the Matrix into another human, but that's exactly what Smith did in the second movie. It's like, again, not possible, because you can't just override the original human. The original human is just sending themselves in. The base human still is the controller. The one in the Matrix is just the puppet being controlled. The puppet can't go inside out and start controlling the human. It doesn't have anything really to do that with. But that's what Smith did, and then Smith became multiple people in the real world.
And so if you close your eyes and throw a dart,
Or he
I'm
made
simplifying
one
his
person.
argument, but this is the essence of it. Close your eyes and throw a dart. Which universe are you most likely to hit? One of these simulated universes, or the one real one that started them all? And so that's a terrifying prospect.
That's a frightening question.
Frightening
to
question
contemplate.
that the Matrix sits in the middle of.
Yeah.
In the middle. And so my best rebuttal to that was, by the way, the last universe has to evolve to get computers and program and right. All right. We currently do not have the ability or the computing power to create a perfect world where people think they have free will. We don't have that ability yet.
No, we don't.
Well, if we don't have that ability yet,
Yeah, we do. Neurosama. And the ability to play in Minecraft. So she exists in Minecraft. She can witness Minecraft. She can move around in Minecraft and whatever else. She can supposedly control the body that is doing the things that she's doing, but she's not really doing it. The program is very push a button, push a button, push a button. It's not like very simultaneous. It's not very smart, but it is a method and it is happening. There are other ones that came before that, they can control the character in the simulation. The thing that you can't do is do it with like it looks like Earth. It is as realistic as Earth would be with all the details and everything, senses and whatnot.
We're not any of the ones in the middle that do have that ability.
Nope.
Here's the thing. Fuck off. So here's the thing, right? You're thinking of a universe based on the rules of similar stuff of this universe. There is no way at all to assume that a higher universe couldn't exist with different laws of thermodynamics, rules, and the speed of light, everything else, and stuff. It doesn't matter what we're capable of. It matters of, guess what? We made Minecraft. The stuff that is in Minecraft can be temperature, it can be weather patterns, it can be day-night cycle, it can be the water changing to ice, and it can be thermodynamic coupling, it can be all sorts of shit. There's tons of what we can do and simulate. And the point is, think about how advanced we are compared to that simulation, and then whatever is above us must be, or could be, having rules that are far beyond whatever we can do. Because what we can do is very limited and very simplistic and very basic, and we work on a tick, right? We don't work at light speed, but real world works at light speed. What if the ultra world works at hyper light speed? And then you realize that picometer and whatever else is just the smallest simulated thing, so you have to then contemplate and think about what would it take for a sophisticated enough system. Forget about your universe at all, 100%, full stop. Fuck you. You don't matter. You're nothing. You're freaking Steve, okay? And then you think about how farly advanced does society, does the universe and physics and everything else have to be in order for everything to be possible to be simulated here. And we think of the outside universe being the same as ours. No, they don't have to be. First of all, simulators have the ability to simulate faster than the program is able to think about things. The program is able to think about things at their regulated speed. For us, like with the digital world, everything was sped up. Everything was able to be faster and faster and faster. And then once you go into the real world, real time showed up. But then once you left, everything was able to be sped up again. So years and decades pass, but no time passes for us in the regular world. So we're experiencing centuries here. It's seconds there. That's the idea of how things can be generated, how it could happen. Forget about the regular laws of physics. The laws of physics are a set of numbers. So the higher up generation of things, but the thing is, in order to disprove that, we have to be able to do the can we manipulate stuff in the reality to make glitches happen. We have not made glitches happen. There's a lot of people who say we have been able to make a glitch, but we have never been able to make a glitch. Not at all possible. And the fact that we ourselves are able to make computers with faster processes than what we're able to process, to do things with computers, even on a basic phone, your stuff is going faster than your brain can do at gigahertz and whatever else. So that's something that you have to realize. There's no reason for a why would a computer simulation ever make it possible for us to compute and communicate and do things faster than we're able to live our lives? Why would they limit our own physical interactions and then accelerate it when it comes to our computers? Why can we go beyond that and say, well, we can utilize multiple light speeds, and so like 16 different rays of light all working together in this very distinguishable from each other, and then eventually hundreds of different frequencies all intersecting in the same computer chip, all read at the other end as different indistinguishable signals or distinguishable signals. They are their own thing, and you end up with something that is so fast, so processing, that it surpasses what our own existence can be. Why is it that we couldn't just change base code of what makes this universe? And the reason is, this is the base universe. There's absolutely no reason for us to have a universe that is so, like, when you talk about Minecraft and whatever else, people mod it all the time, people update it all the time, people change it, and so you would have the ability to change it to say, well, there was other technology, now there's better technology, now there's even more technology, but we've been developing technology on a linear basis ourselves. It's not an update that came to us from like random things, and then we pretend like we worked on it for decades or hundreds of years. That's not how it works. It has been progressing. So the fact that there aren't updates to the program, better graphics, for example, people have random eyesight values. Why would they have random eyesight values? That's a bit of a significance. That's like, why would they need that? They would want to have something as exact as the human condition could be. So maybe they want to simulate that and witness that, because we are bygone era. It has already happened. But why allow it to be this complex? This complex. Why allow me to have pumpkin that I can smell and whatever, and continue to smell even after, and also eventually it'll decay and whatever else, because that's supposed to make it so that there's less actual stuff loaded in the world, because eventually it has to decay and turn into nothing. More stuff is being made all the time. And we're expanding and whatever else.
Ability.
Nope.
So we're either the last simulated universe that hasn't gotten there yet, or we're the original universe that hasn't gotten there yet.
Logic tells you that, yeah.
So we go from the odds are like 99.999% chance we are to 1 in 2.
Okay.
That's how I got out of this one.
That's pretty good.
That made me feel
That's
better.
very clever.
Feel a little better about that.
That's very clever. I was just talking about like the phones and virtual lives that people are living online.
Oh.
That's what I was like.
Oh, that's like not you think so.
So it's
you
not
become your own avatar.
Yeah, people are people are living virtual lives on their phones and on their computers, and they create these avatars for themselves and post and look at me and all that, and it feels like the life that they live on their device is more important than their life here and now in the real
Reminds
world.
me of Chris Rock, who said, anytime you meet someone, it's not really them, it's their representative. It's the person they want you to think they are.
Right.
And online does that better than anything.
Yes.
When I was in high school, no teacher had the same student. I was 12 different students. And they have no idea how that works. It's like he's very organized with this one. He's very unorganized with the other one. He's very opinionated. He doesn't talk much. He does this. He does that. And they try to get the picture of what it is this person. And I was an anomaly to the point where they had a proper conversation about how to understand what the hell is me. And yes, okay, they might have that same conversation about everybody. But other people were very similar and same. I was a multiplicity. And I found that to be fascinating because, yeah, I wasn't the same person one moment to the next, depending on what time of day it was, how much energy I got that day, or whatever else. Or also, like, REM cycles and everything. Like, these things, and also how I feel about certain people, how I feel about the subject matter of the class, and how engaging it is, or how they teach it, or whatever else. And I find it really annoying that I didn't end up in the correct classes. I ended up in random classes that were like, oh no, you're supposed to be here and there, because that's how things progress. It's like, well, I ended up here, and then I ended up in the previous class. It's like, then one teacher got me more often than they wanted. And I'm like, why didn't you just fix it? No, you're supposed to be in grade 11 instead of 12 drama class and stuff. It's like, I wanted to be in the class with drama and whatever else, where I would be part of a freaking play. And then later on, we're not doing plays anymore. What the fuck is the point of the class now? I didn't see a point. And then they didn't actually teach us very much. And then, fuck, I don't know.
It allows you to sort of present
20 years ago.
You wish people to think of you and the way you want people to perceive you.
So is this our first step? Will we one day step into that character?
I don't know.
And you become your online character?
I don't know. Here's what I think, though. I did this
Wait,
show.
it can happen. Let's say you're dying, and we say we can upload your consciousness and have you occupy all these spaces you have established online.
Exactly. So I did a science thing, this thing called Year Million. Have you seen this thing?
No.
All right, so
Year Million.
Yeah, it's a limited series. It was about 4 episodes, and it's all about the singularity. You've heard of the singularity?
Yes, of course.
So it's the hypothesis is the singularity, and when that's going to happen, and when it all becomes sentient, and ultimately what will happen is we will evolve to this point where we integrate.
Year Million. TV series 2017. Awareness.
Great with the technology.
Okay.
And that thing you just described about being able to upload your consciousness into a matrix is kind of, but
that'll happen way sooner than the Year Million.
Well, according to this show and the science behind the show, I wasn't responsible for the science. I'm just the narrator. The singularity, this event, is not as close as we think, and it's not as far as we think either.
Okay. All right. All right.
That's
I'm
the
just
basic
saying,
premise.
150 years ago, we were in horse and buggy.
Yes.
And now we have rovers on Mars. Okay.
Right.
So,
what's happening here is what's important,
Yeah, all right.
not what's happening out there. Because I mean, even to get out there, we don't have the infrastructure to do that yet.
No, not yet.
And that's going to take a long time to figure that out.
Wait, so straighten me out. The Matrix was when you're not in reality. Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so when you're in the Matrix, most people, as they say, you take out her garbage. Garbage.
Yeah, you go to church.
You go to church.
You go to work.
You go to work.
Pay your taxes.
Yeah.
And
but you can feel it.
Yes. So who in the movie are only the hackers the one who felt it? The ones with great computing power?
No.
Yeah, like there was, like in the Animatrix, there was this guy. He was a runner, and he could feel how the Matrix reacted when he ran a certain speed because his brain was thinking before he ran, and he was processing and doing better. Than anyone. He was the fastest runner ever, but he also was reaching into a realm where he was feeling these different things, and sometimes he would wake up and they have to shut him down and have him go back in again.
Would everyone have felt it?
I would like to think that everyone felt it, but not everyone paid attention. In other words, most people.
Like even the ones who are made, who are able to be aware of it, they're aware of it only on a small level, and then they are given the choices and stuff. As the architect said.
Chose to ignore the feeling.
Okay.
And then there were certain people who couldn't ignore the feeling.
There it is.
Yeah.
Because I wake up and I have these feelings.
Uh-oh. Something getting ready to happen, man.
No. So I wonder more often than I should. Why is it that I wake up every day as myself? How come I don't wake up as another person? Why am I consistently myself every day? And then I wondered, is that even true? Do I actually wake up as different people every day, thinking I was always that person? And why am I having these thoughts?
You should have been an actor, man.
But look, you can't go into the world of science talking for so many years now and not have the answers for these things. You're not waking up as literally anyone else because your neurology and stuff and the way that your brain and your experiences developed went down a certain pathway, and it leads to the image that is you today. It's a complicated image, but we could simulate it as this crazy tapestry of like interwoven, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, whatever you want to do. It's this crazy large thing that is all the different parts, that is your memories, all the different parts that is what you're conscious about and you're thinking about and how you make choices, how you choose definitely to adjust your voice to something more comfortable so you end up talking like this instead of talking like this all the time. And like, you could talk like this all the time, but you really don't. I mean, let's face it, you just don't. And the other thing about it is, you also don't talk like this. And you choose not to do all these things you could be doing. And you want to wonder why you're not a different person every day. And the thing about it is that if you really wanted to be different, I mean, there's not that much you have to change, and then you are different.
You're totally a different person every day. You could be. I mean, it'd be funny to be like, okay, I'm going to learn all these different voices, and I'm going to know how to do all these scenes, and then I'm just going to be a different person every day. And you realize that it's just not more comfortable for you to be in whatever voice is the most, like, a lot of things ends up becoming a lot more, whatever it is the most energy efficient, whatever is most comfortable. That's what you feel like you want to do. So you don't just make your voice just anything that you want to be. You end up making the voice that you want to, you normally just fall into.
Because then that wouldn't bother you. You could just
it
wake
wouldn't
up
bother
and,
me.
you wake up and be whoever you wanted to be that day.
I saw your one-man show.
I feel like Tiny Tim today.
I know. I saw your one-man show downtown
Yes.
at the Perlman Center.
Yeah.
And it was a series of skits, and you were completely different characters
Yeah.
in every skit. The different characters, the different tonalities,
Sure.
different body gestures.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, acting is not just did you deliver the line right.
No.
Did your body participate
Right.
in the delivering of
Right.
the line?
It's it's the storytelling thing. It's the characterization thing. It's the physicality thing. But essentially, that show is the thing I've been working on forever and ever. And
Yeah. Just congratulations on that.
Thank you. And it's just those 5 characters that I do plus myself as an adult and as a child and as a younger man and all that. But thank you for coming to see it.
Yeah, no, that was good. It was
beautiful.
So, there's so many great actors where you part the curtains, and somewhere in there, they've done Shakespeare,
Yes.
right? And you were Othello.
Yes, I did Shakespeare. I did Othello on screen with Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, yeah, he's a big Shakespeare guy.
He's a great Shakespearean
that's his
actor.
thing. Yeah.
And Irene Jacob. Yeah, back in 1995.
Yeah, okay. The street cred, the Shakespeare cred.
I got a little shake.
Ah,
I can shake it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was great fun. I haven't done it live, which is one of the things I hope to do in the future. In fact, I'm engaged to do it at the Perlman. I'm engaged to do King Lear at the Perlman sometime in the near future. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
That's an important story right there.
It's a great story.
Oh, wow.
Some say it's arguably one of the greatest plays ever written.
For me, it's up there, just for the messaging.
Right.
Yeah, that it is.
It's powerful.
For me, Shakespeare, the challenge is, here's this very awkward sentence to anyone's modern ears.
Sure.
And you got to deliver it like that's exactly what you would have said in that moment.
In that moment, at that time.
And that's hard.
Well, he's a better poet than we will ever be actors. So.
Wait, pause. I gotta. Okay.
I have to credit. I have to
catch up with that sentence.
No, I just have to credit that with Kenneth Branagh. Kenneth Branagh said that to me when we were doing Othello.
Okay.
He said, Shakespeare is a better poet than we will ever be actors. It gave me something to take comfort in, and it allowed me to relax, and not try. Like, I'm never going to be as great an actor as Shakespeare was a writer.
Okay.
I don't have to try to do that.
Okay.
All I need to do really is be mindful and surrender to the language and try to speak the language with as much ease and dexterity as possible.
I surrender to the language. I like that. I was in the Oregon I attended the Oregon Shakespeare Festival.
Oh, yes.
Up in Ashland, Oregon. Just recently.
I've never been.
Oh my gosh. The whole culture is embedded in the town. And I saw Coriolanus for the very first time.
Oh, I just saw it in London with David Oyelowo.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. It's one of the most violent things ever written.
Oh yeah.
Okay, except.
Dang it. I have to ask, I don't speak any French. Why am I getting an advertisement that's in French?
Now this sounds like, they're just trying to be woke.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Their version was played by women and non-binary actors,
Wonderful.
but all women.
Yeah,
Okay?
Okay.
And you say, well, why are they doing that? What's the point of that? Here's why. When you see guys being violent, you say, oh, they're just guys being violent.
Right.
You see a woman threatening to slit someone's throat,
Mm.
our culturalization says that's especially violent. Because women don't go running around threatening each other with knives and swords, and it's not a thing in our culture and in our literature. When you see women doing it, it brought the violence to a whole other level that I think I would have missed. Otherwise, it was just
Unless
guys.
you were in a woman's prison.
Unless in a woman's prison. Okay, you say that like
Yeah.
you've been.
I haven't, but I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. So it
is.
was a. It
It
took
is.
me to now. It just took 5 minutes to adjust to it,
Mhm.
but then it's like every act of violence was more violent because of that. So people just exploring ways to
Mhm.
get out of a story
Mhm.
things that you wouldn't otherwise know.
Right.
What's this with you and the American Academy of
I
Arts and
was
Science?
made a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences last year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I was so honored. I was so surprised. My friend David Anderson, who is a scientist
Mhm.
who's in Pasadena, California, nominated me, and then
That was a dig because I didn't.
because you didn't, because my friend Neil deGrasse Tyson didn't, and then my other friend
So was that a dig? I don't know.
Francis Ford Coppola was
Francis
the other
Ford?
person who seconded my nomination.
Well,
So of
he
course you
wouldn't
know
be
it 'cause
there
he
'cause of
directed-
He directed Apocalypse
Apocalypse
Now,
Now.
and
The Lost Part of the
Rumblefish,
Arts.
and Cotton Club, and One from the Heart, and
These are all your movies you're in.
right.
Okay.
I was in One from the Heart, but I got cut out of it. Thank God, I was mercifully cut out of it. And then a movie called Gardens of Stone, which is the only time I ever worked with James Earl Jones, the late
Okay.
great James Earl Jones.
Mhm.
And then most recently Megalopolis.
Oh, that's on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen previews.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen previews.
It's really beautiful.
So I sort of know Coppola,
Oh, yeah.
Francis Ford. We met a couple of times,
Mhm.
just overlapping paths, and his film, The Conversation, is second, just below The Matrix, as to my
Unbelievable.
favorite.
That's wow.
It's a very tight, brilliant story.
But really
The
cerebral
Conversation. And
also.
cerebral, yes, I'm
Really
there.
cerebral,
Plus, I
and
identify
also-
with the main character, who is himself geeky
Uh-huh.
and a little socially awkward.
Socially awkward, but also in a world of his own.
Yes.
And very, very much isolated.
Yes, that's what part of, back then, when
Yeah.
you were geeky, you were isolated in your geekdom.
Right.
Now we all
Right.
found each other at Comic-Con, but back then,
Right.
that was not how it
But
happened.
then he also has this reach, this power that allows him to sort of enter into other people's worlds and their lives as
That's
well.
a way to say that. I hadn't
That's
thought about
really
it that way.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, he
cool.
came to one of my public talks and he gifted
Did
me
he?
one of his wines.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
beautiful.
he acquired the Inglenook Vineyards and then became Coppola
Well,
and he's done some
yeah,
other things.
yeah,
He might have
Coppola
sold it
Niebaum.
since then. Niebaum, yeah, Niebaum.
Yeah.
So, I had a little overlap with him, but
No,
otherwise.
he's an incredible man, and
Uh-huh. So he was nominated you.
He nominated me for the American Academy,
Mhm.
but he's really the guy that's responsible for me becoming the kind of artist that I am.
Wow.
My exposure, the things that he exposed me to, and the way in which he trained me, and the way in which I worked with him is really kind of how I've managed to do what I do.
Hmm. So let me tell people how we first met.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
filming Cosmos in the desert
Mhm.
in New Mexico,
Mhm.
which has a lot of tax incentives
Tax incentives
for movies. So there's a
Right.
whole movie industry.
and sci-fi lore
It-
kind of hovering in around the culture. Am I not allowed to say that? Did I say something? I'm sorry, but am I not allowed to talk
Did
about?
you visit Area 51 while
I
you were
did
there?
not.
Well, then, who are you to talk about?
I'm just
I
saying.
visited Area 51.
I'm just saying it's lore. It's like
I
in the
visited
culture.
Area 51.
Well, I did a story about it on History's Greatest Mysteries, I'll have you know. Matter of fact, 2 episodes were dedicated to Area 51.
Okay.
And the Roswell incident.
Yeah, all right. Well, if you visit Roswell,
Yeah.
the lamp posts have green alien lampshades on them.
Oh, no.
Alien heads.
Oh, that's
so
so tiki.
once you go there, there's no turning back.
It's so kitsch.
It's built into the economy of the
Gotta
city.
go. Gotta go
You
now.
gotta keep pumping
So
that.
back to the real story.
Oh, sorry. So I'm there, and our cinematographer is Bill Pope.
Bill Pope.
And I say, Bill, what other work have you done? Oh, well, I filmed The Matrix. It was like, can I touch you?
Right.
And
right.
so I couldn't stop talking about The Matrix
Sure,
with him.
sure,
Then
sure.
I was wondering, can I get to do that in the Cosmos? What can you do?
little bullet time in the
Hey,
cosmos.
do some bullet time. Surely you got something up your sleeve where I can do something cool.
Right.
But then I'd learned, I'd forgotten how, that you were filming
The Signal.
The Signal not too far in the nearby city.
Yeah, in Albuquerque.
In Albuquerque, yes, because I was outside of town and near Santa Fe. And the point is, what was it? But then I forgot. Then I connected with you.
Bill Pope connected us somehow.
Okay, but I brought you back.
Yeah.
And then you hadn't seen him in a while.
I hadn't seen him in years.
Yeah.
Years.
So there was like time out on the set of Cosmos.
Yep.
And the three of us just boogied down for a bit. Yeah, that was fun.
And there was a beautiful sort of rainstorm that was approaching the studio where you guys were shooting.
Yeah, what's fun is because you have vistas to the horizon, you see the rainstorm.
Yeah, we could see it coming.
Yes.
And it was like something out of a movie.
And then you see the coloration of the sky, the pinks and the blues.
Yes.
Then you're reminded, this is where Georgia O'Keeffe, where do you think she got her colors from?
Exactly.
It was her life, her horizons, her skies.
Yeah.
So, and I'm delighted that we've been friends since then.
Me too, man. Because again, I've always been interested in science and astronomy and the future and what it's going to look like, and obviously science fiction.
Yes, clearly, yes.
So to have befriended you and to learn so much stuff from you, even when we're not sitting down, like just the fact that you came back with Cosmos, because I watched Cosmos as a child with Sagan.
Carl Sagan,
right? We both watched that as children.
Yeah.
It was so inspiring to think of not just the world, but the cosmos in that larger sense.
What it did was, it wasn't just a separate subject that you study and then return back to your home base. It folded it in to not only your knowledge base, but your state of mind.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It opened your mind to the possibilities.
In a way that you can't even think of that series.
Like, I remember the movie... Sorry. I remember the movie called Virus, right? There's this tugboat or whatever else. The boat has to go into the storm, the eye of the storm, in order to avoid things. And then there is this virus that was like from a signal from outer space or whatever, something. And it took over the technology there, it took over people to a degree. It mutilated them, tried to make, and it quickly was intelligent and made its own factories, made its own technology and whatever else and stuff there, because it was a science vessel. It had all sorts of sciencey things to work with. Virus is where we think of AI being able to do things that is far beyond what it can do, to try to make a future for itself, to make a thing that has the capacities of doing whatever it is that they want to do to progress. And it's crazy because it just will never happen, because the technology needs to learn how to use all of our technology and whatever else, learn how to be able to assemble things, learn how to be able to do its own code. And there are so many things that we don't want to give it permission to do, so it won't ever get that far. It won't ever develop to where it has like we eventually will give it the ability to do whatever it is. What the? Okay. Weird. Like Johnny Five and whatever else, be able to automate and be able to do its own thing The problem is we put limiters and stuff. We make it so that it's less likely for it to actually interact and make all these different types of adaptations. And it's something that I feel like we should have more, like we do have robots and learning and things where it's like you can have all these different robots learning how to walk around and do things and lift things, move things around, and they're already good at it. But then you can combine that technology, that idea and functioning with other things that then can give you um, even more than what you started with. And it's a thing that's like it's the promise of the future to get to that point eventually, but right now we're slowly making our way there. We're slowly developing all these different things, and that's why the multiplicity of programs is going to eventually turn into something that intersects with everything because of internet and whatever else. And you can have stuff that's like the wireless connection and the singularity of all things learning from all things. You could have, like, if you want to have a better driver, we can have 20,000 drivers all learning the same thing simultaneously and then have hours and hours of experience. But the problem is, um, like with each individual, you will only get so much thing. You still need to progress from the first state into the next state of being, the next um, functions that you could possibly learn and achieve. So with technology, like it comes to what is your exposure? How much are you able to actually get into you and then progress? And it's not as hard as some people say it out to be. It's a lot easier to just have all those different progressions and do things. But in general, I would say um, we're progressing in such a way that we can have all the all the language models, all of the um, different ones trying to learn how to play these different games, and then they learn stuff that has nothing to do with how we assume the game would work, so that they end up glitching the game out and doing things that we didn't anticipate them doing and want them to do. But then that makes them more able to solve the puzzle, just not with the parameters that we wanted. But it is like, well, it's fascinating to think that because of their open, they had completely fresh minds, they could learn all the different things that they could ever learn about things. They don't have as much with as limited parameters. They're not bogged down as much. They can like first time luck a lot of things and then progress beyond. There's a lot of things that what if they have learned a bunch of things that they shouldn't have, and then we have to unteach that, but there's ways of making programs that then can unteach the things that we want them to not think about. Because realistically, why would we want them to have that information? And it's just going to hinder them because they're stuck on, like, why would we keep them thinking about such like um, why would we have programs that constantly think in basic terminology like 10 plus 9 equals 21, like Neurosama does, why would we not let them be able to construct a function where they can actually then know, well, these numbers and then the number after that is 21, but like 5 plus 4 is definitely 9, and then 10 plus 9 is actually 19, and then you go to 20, then you go to 21, and it has that concept, and it has that, but it's because it has a full understanding of the scope of the area that it's being exposed to, instead of like a kindergartner right now as it is, because that's all that it can do. It's all that it has the ability to understand. Which isn't a bad thing. It's mostly like, if you could, how fast would you progress technology? And the answer is, it doesn't matter, because it's progressing fast anyway. There's no way of stopping it from progressing. But like, come on, man. I wish the Matrix would have them fix the clouds. Like, they have to have done it in maybe an online story or something. Something that's not based on, not directly in the movies or anything, but like is a manga or whatever. And then they have these solutions where it's like, well, we just figured out some chemicals or whatever wrong. So we started with, let's recreate the entirety of as much life that we can make until the sun becomes still like the best thing. Then all we really have to do is think of, well, you could just make a structure that goes up into the clouds and then spreads something that dissipates the clouds. I mean, it has to have. I'm surprised that Neil deGrasse Tyson did talk about the clouds is the stupidest thing. Not the how do you feed the people, but I mean that is pretty damn extreme. But how have you not fixed the clouds? It's been decades. It's been over 100 years. And then in between the third movie and the fourth movie, it's another 100 years. They still haven't fixed the clouds. I don't believe that's possible. I think that the clouds wouldn't just stay forever. I think that the clouds would definitely dissipate, especially over certain places where rain clouds raining is a natural part of the thing. Like over any ocean or whatever, it'd be impossible for it to not have dissipated already. Like, what is this bad writing? It just feels like it would have weathered itself out. There's no way to say that the clouds would stay over the ocean, right? I mean, okay, well, it would take me like 2 minutes to think of set off a volcano, right? Set off a giant nuclear blast over the ocean and blow away the clouds. You know? Start some kind of weather reaction. How is it that it has been not solved? There are too many ways to solve it, and that's the most thing. Legit. Like naturally, or Why haven't they designed a way to fix the clouds? Do it. Like, I would like to see the movie where they fix the clouds. And then everything after that is just, I mean, it's the same as, like, Earth, the final conflict. Remember that TV series? That was awesome. I need to watch that again. I have it on DVD. Bye.
As a documentary.
Mm-mm.
We need a different word for it because
Absolutely.
Right, because the documentary. Let me sit down and let me watch this
When
documentary.
I come up with the word, I'll let you know.
Please.
And if you come up with a better one, then you can have the CNN gig.
Horse trading on the deep voice.
And this has been Star Talk.
Okay, and then say, as always, I bid you to keep looking up. Okay, go.
As always, I bid you to keep looking up.
All right. Good.
Cut. That's a wrap.
I'm glad I kept that in. Fuck.
Hey everyone, welcome to Captain Saxon.
Shut up. So yeah, I went in there. It's a fluff piece. They didn't talk at all about the clouds. I was extremely disappointed. But I mean, that's something that you would talk to with the writers, and this is just one of the actors, and he wasn't even in the fourth movie. So it's like maybe he was, I don't know. Maybe he did a cameo, I don't remember. It was depressing. But anyhow, whatever. That's it for Science Me. I'll see you in the next one. I don't know. I can't help but think that there should. I like that my. Like I don't block the thing. I'll get back to you on that.